very simple. I don't think there's a reason why we need to fail this topic called trigonometry, because we know to say even this GCE, okay, this year's exam is either a sine rule or a cosine rule. Okay, let me come here first so I can explain a bit, because as I said, I'll go a little bit broad in my explanation so that we can have an idea or cement our understanding with respect to the videos that I shared to you. Okay, so remember with part 2, and we are talking about trig. Okay, the discussion is about trig. So it's either they will bring a sine rule, okay, or a cosine rule, or a cosine rule. These are the only two things that they will ask you, either a sine rule or a cosine rule. So it means that we need to know them. Okay? In this rule, either sine rule or cosine rule, they can either ask you to calculate the angle or a side, regardless of the rule which they will use. They will ask you to calculate the side, the side or the angle. So this simply implies that you guys, you need to develop an ability to identify, to say in this question I need to use a sine rule, not a cosine rule. If you won't have that ability of identifying, then you cannot calculate. Then you won't enjoy this question, because how can you calculate something that you don't know, whether it's a sine rule or cosine rule? So the first thing is know how to identify where you are supposed to use a sine rule and where you are supposed to use a cosine rule. Very important. I'm emphasizing this part because as far as this question is concerned, and by the way, it's actually 9 marks. 9 marks, 9 free marks, 9 free marks, 9 marks. It's a lot of marks in paper 2. So we need to specialize. We need to know it. And remember, it comes in section B, where you are supposed to choose. So questions like this, topic like this, we need to know them because it's a must. We need to choose them. Okay. So I'm emphasizing on the ability to identify a sine rule and to differentiate it from a cosine rule. How to do that? I shared the videos, the links, and you can agree with me if I told you went through those videos. They were simplified, were explained. Okay, so I'm not going to emphasize much on that aspect because I know videos were shared. Okay, Mr. Temu, did you go through those videos?
Yes, I did.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So very important. So for me, with this example, I'll just go direct in terms of calculation. Of course, maybe I'll just talk a little bit, but the actual differentiation of sine rule from cosine rule, the videos are there. You can watch them at any time of your choice. So now, after we are done with this stage where we are saying it's either sine rule or cosine rule, the next question that they'll ask you, regardless whether it's a sine rule or cosine rule, they'll ask you about the area. The area of a triangle. Always. Guys, this does not change. This does not change. The concept is always constant. Okay? The second question mostly is about the area. It's always, you know, it's very painful having a challenge of a certain concept which they bring over and over again. And this year, this is coming. Area. They're going to ask you to calculate the area. Whether it's a sine rule, whether it's a cosine rule. Because the first stage first is just to know if at all it's a sine rule or cosine rule, and then you calculate. The second stage now, regardless whether it's sine rule or cosine rule, you need to know the area. The last question is always the shortest distance. Okay? Shortest distance. This is the last question. So we need to appreciate this. Okay, so this is the stage on how they bring the questions. And before I go ahead to this question, let me also highlight one thing about trig. Okay, so with trig, there's also a video which I shared on how trig has moved, the evolution of trig. I named that video as the evolution of trig. Why are you supposed to know the evolution of trig? What's the importance of the evolution of a trig? Remember, with trig, we deal with one shape called a triangle. So it's very important for us to know that as far as this topic is concerned, we deal with a shape called a triangle. With the link that I shared, I explained how it moves from kindergarten curriculum or content, where when the period we were young, we are introduced to different shapes. You identify a shape, square, triangle, rectangle, those things. Okay? After the identification of shapes, we move to grade 8 and 9, where now they picked one shape called a triangle. And then picked, in fact, a special triangle called a right angle triangle. By picking that shape, it gave birth to a topic called Pythagoras theorem, where we only calculate the sides of a right angle triangle. Coming to senior, secondary now, they said, since these guys, they know how to find the sides of a triangle, how about the angle in that right angle triangle? Are they able to calculate? That concept now brought in called trigonometry. So now when we are calculating the triangle inside a right angle triangle, if this is your right angle triangle, okay, we know it with the 90 degrees here. There's always a 90 degrees, a symbol for 90 degrees, for you to know that this is a right angle. Okay, a right angle triangle. There's always a 90 degrees here. So now with senior, they said, let's build up. Not only should they know about the sides ABC, even the angle theta. They need to know how to calculate this angle theta. So how to calculate this angle theta? It brought in the animal called Sokatoa. Sokatoa. So in short, I'm explaining to you to say, when you are dealing with a right angle triangle, you need to use the concept of Sokatoa. And this concept of Sokatoa only comes in paper 1. Okay? It only comes in mathematics paper 1. Because after you learn about Sokatoa, you have to find the value of it inside. I'm emphasizing inside a right angle triangle. They said, how about any other triangle? Any other triangle, then we are talking about a non-right angled triangle. A non-right angled triangle. Okay? A non-right angled triangle. With a non-right triangle now, we are talking about a triangle without a 90 degrees in it. As you can see, there's no 90 degrees. There's no any this symbol here. We don't put this symbol on a non-right triangle. So with a non-right triangle, it brought in now the rule called the sine rule and the cosine rule. Okay? Sine rule and the cosine rule. Okay? It brought in two rules, sine rule and cosine rule. So, why is it necessary for me to tell you these things? The reason why I'm telling you these things is because I know some of you are aiming just to memorize right now. But I can encourage you, it's not too late. It's not too late. There's a lot of time for us to enjoy mathematics. Regardless of how you are moving as a group or at individual, there's a lot of time we can pick up. Why is it important for you to know these things? The reason why it's important for us to know this is because I want you to know to say, as far as trig paper 2 is concerned, they will not ask you about a right angle triangle. They won't ask you about this type of a triangle. So meaning that don't bother to bring Sokatoa. Please, don't bother to bring Sokatoa under paper 2 here. Do not bring Sokatoa under paper 2. The reason why I'm emphasizing this, guys, is because I do invigilate. Why you are invigilating and then you are seeing a person writing Sokatoa. But of course, you can't advise. You are limited. You cannot advise someone to say, no, don't use Sokatoa here. You can't advise. Okay? So we should know to say, as far as paper 2 is concerned, it's either sine rule or cosine rule. And we deal with a non-right angled triangle. So that is just a bit of evolution. But for you to know deep at your spare time, please watch that video. It will be of benefit to you. So now, with this background which I've highlighted about trig, let me now go deep now to calculate today's question. So that now we can enhance our understanding as far as sine rule is concerned. As usual, feel free to ask questions. Feel free where you are behind. That's the reason why I'm here. That's the reason why you are paying money for these services. That's the reason why I'm teaching you. Please feel free. Don't feel any shy in any way. Because during an exam, unfortunately, you'll be alone with that paper. So when there's time, let's interact as much as possible. Okay, so now let me go back to the question paper. So that was just a background about trig, so that we can appreciate. So now this is the question. This was the final exam, 2020 GCE paper. So the second note on top, I've not written it because I believe I've shared the question with you guys. So the first question is saying, find angle OGL. Okay, OGL. Okay. So for us to find angle OGL, we first need to identify where is angle OGL. So we'll say this is O, this is OGL. Okay. So for the angle normally, the angle which they are referring to, we normally goes to the middle letter. We normally use the middle letter. So in this case, you have been given three letters, O, G, and L. So the middle letter is G. So meaning that they want us to calculate angle G. That is about which angle to calculate. Because I always encourage my learners, and even you guys, I'm encouraging you. When you are calculating maths, it's not just a matter of just solving anyhow. No, you need to know what you are looking for. Because I've seen, when you are marking test papers, you can even want to say, is this person knows what he or she is supposed to do, or what they are calculating? Because they solve just anyhow. So that's why I'm emphasizing about the middle letter, which is letter G. So now, after we have identified to say we always go to the middle letter, okay? How are you going to know to say this is a cosine rule or a sine rule? Despite sharing that video, I'm going to highlight. So this is sine rule. Next day we'll learn about the cosine rule. So with sine rule normally, how you need to say this is sine rule. Okay? You'll be given a triangle, of course. This is a triangle. Maybe before I explain, let me find out, does anyone knows any contribution? How can you know to say this is sine rule? Let me hear your views. I can end up teaching alone and use the lecture method, which is not encouraged mostly. Because we need to be involved so that I can find out whether you are following, so that I can enhance somewhere. So how can we identify to say in this question or in this triangle we need to use a sine rule? Lubuto, do you have an idea? Yes. Okay. Yes, Lubuto.
No,
Yes, Lubuto.
no, no,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Okay. And then how about I don't know whether it's Mr. Charles or Madam Rachel. I saw the hand up.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Madam Rachel.
Yes, when two angles or one side is given, or one angle and two sides are given, then that's a cosine rule.
When it can come again, Madam Rachel, if you don't mind.
When two sides are given, the non-included angle is given. That's a cosine rule. Or when two angles are given and any sides.
Okay. All right.
I don't know
Right?
if it is clear, sir.
Yes, very much clear. Otherwise, Madam Rachel, I want to recommend what you are doing because I've been following you very clearly, and you have been actually very active. And if you guys, if you don't know, the reason why I'm your tutor, you need to disturb me mathematically. It has been there disturbing me. I appreciate that because that is my role. I've been meant to say I need to help, and she has been very active. And if you noticed, I shared the link up to sine rule. Okay, those videos. She went ahead and shared the link for cosine rule. I noticed, okay, and then I said, okay, this is wonderful for cosine rule, and everything which she has explained right now is there under sine rule, how to identify sine rule. This is why I'm recommending you, please, let's revisit those videos. So, for us to know whether it is sine rule, you'll be given two sides and a non-included angle. Two sides and a non-included angle. And in those videos which I shared, I even explained the meaning of a non-included angle. Okay? So now, if for example, you have been given A, B, and C, okay? And remember, the side opposite to A is named as small letter A. The side opposite to angle C is named as small letter C. The side opposite to B is small letter B. So in short, from this, I'm simply saying to say, under trigonometry, sides are named by small letters. We use small letters to indicate a side, and we use capital letters to denote angles. Okay? So now, if you have been given two sides, for example, you have been given A and B. Okay? For example, if you have been given A and B, just a minute, I want to do this. Something I want to do. So, for example, if you have been given A and B, okay? A and B. Now, the line or the sides A and B are meeting at C, okay? They are meeting at C. This angle C has a special name where the two given lines are meeting as a special name. The special name is called included angle. This is included angle. Okay? Included angle. If you have been given the side A and B, and this side A and B are meeting at angle C, then this angle C is called included angle. Okay? And the other angles now, for example, this angle and this angle are called a non-included angle. Non-included angle. So now what are we saying about sine rule? So we are saying We can use sine rule if you have been given any two sides and a non-included angle. A non-included angle. Let's come here now. Okay? In this diagram, we have been given 10.1 and 14.2. This 10.1 and 14.2, they are meeting at G. So G is an included angle. But what angle have we been given? It's angle L, which is a non-included angle. So then a sine rule work. Then a sine rule work. So we need to appreciate this. Okay? So a cosine rule here cannot work. The other way that you can identify to say this is a sine rule, or in short, let me just make a summary for you to know this is a sine rule or it's not a sine rule. Okay? This is a summary. Madam Rachel, hope you are following. I want to highlight a summary here. So in short, for a sine rule to work, you'll be given first of all an angle and each side in full. One angle and each side you'll be given in full. If you be given this angle and the opposite side you'll be given. Okay? One angle and each opposite sides will be given. So it's either angle A and its side A or angle B and its side B. One thing will be given in full. Thereafter, for the other thing, you'll be given either an angle. If at all have been given an angle, then the question will say, find the sides. If you have been given the sides, the question will say, find an angle. After you have been given one angle and each side in full. So now, if we come back to this question now, check angle L. Angle L and its sides has been given in full. But angle O, we only have the sides. Then the question is saying, find what? G. Of which for you to find G, we first need to find O. Very important. So before we go ahead to find out question 1, which is the angle, let me just find out, maybe there's someone who is lost or who is behind, please. Any question for me? Yes, Madam Maria.
I don't know if it's the network. I'm not getting. You are breaking. I don't know if it's on my side.
Okay, so let me just find out from the other colleagues so that I can know whether it's from my side or from, maybe it's your network. Anyone, am I breaking? How is your network on your end? Okay, so others are saying it's okay. So Madam Maria, I think it's your network. Try to cross-check your network. Probably it's your network. Okay. So now let's jump in now. Since we know it's sine rule, let's go ahead and calculate now. So the formula for sine rule is, remember, with trig, you need to use the letters that you have been given. It's not always that you need to use A, B, C. No. Okay? We need to use the letter that you have been given. So in this case, we have L, O, and G. So meaning that we write the formula sine L, letter L, capital L, over small letter l, is equal to sine O over small letter o. Remember, we are looking for G. Okay? This question was a little bit tricky. I don't know whether you have noticed it. It was a little bit tricky because there's no indirect way of finding G. The only way we can find G is first by knowing angle A. When we know angle A, then we can use that property to say total angles in a right angle triangle add up to 180. Have you seen? That's how tricky it was. Certain question, they normally ask a direct question where they will just say, for example, find angle O. Because for angle O, we know the sides. Now we cannot find the direct, okay, answer for angle G, since we don't know the length given here. We have not been given. So here we cannot use this route where we can find the direct angle. We need first to pass through angle O. That's what we are doing. Okay? This is why I've written sine L over L is equal to sine O over O. Anyone with a question on the formula? Madam Faustina, are you okay so far?
Yes, sir, I'm fine. Though on this same formula, is this the actual formula when calculating sine, or you just use the letters in the question, the O and L?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. In terms of the actual questions, in books, Madam Faustina, you will find where there is L and O, maybe there is A and B. But another book, again, there is different letters. So as I said, you need to use the letters that you have been given. So you can either write the sign on top or at the bottom. So mean that you can either write it like this, or you can say L over sine L is equal to O over sine angle O. So meaning that the only secret is once you start with sine, then even after the equal sign, write sine and then the sides down. Or you can put the sides up and then the sine and angle down. So now, Madam Faustina, this is the formula for sine rho, where you need to make a choice. Should you put the sides on top and the angles and sine down? That's your decision to make. Because regardless of the route that you are going to use, the answer is the same. Secondly, the letters, you need to use the letters which have been given in the triangle. Because if you use other letters, they might suspect you. What kind of record did you had, which is having those letters? So my advice is use the letters that you have been given. And it's either you put the sides down. What sides are you going to put down? Small letters which have been given in the triangle. Or you put the sign and the angle up or down. That's your choice. But this is a standard way. No, Madam Faustina, give me a feedback. Are you okay with what I've explained? Thank you very much. Any other question for me? Madam Juanita, do you have any question for me? Are you okay? Madam Juanita?
I'm very much okay, sir.
All right, okay, thank you. And let's see if at all there's any question for me. Okay. If at all we are okay, then let's go ahead with a substitution. Okay? And remember, I said here we need to make a choice whether the first formula or the second formula. Any choice, the answer is the same. Just erase this part. Okay. So now what is angle L? What is the value for angle L? It's 40. Side L is 14.2. Okay. So we shall substitute to say we have sine 40 degrees over 14.2 is equal to sine. What is angle O? Angle O is the angle that we are looking for now, but it's not our final answer. It's the angle that we are looking for. So mean that on O, we won't put anything because we're still interested in knowing the value of this O, which is an angle, over what is the side which is opposite to O, 10.1. So over 10.1. Over 10.1. Like that. Okay? Anyone with a question on the substitution? Let me get a feedback. The way we have substituted, is there anyone who is behind? Yes, Madam Maria. Where exactly?
I just wanted to find out, is it always we use the numbers on the same angle when you're doing the substitution?
Okay, let me try to find out whether I've gotten your question. By numbers on the same angles or the same letters, okay? You mean the way I put 40 on L?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I've noticed that sine L, then you put the small L. Is it to get the same numbers on the same angles,
Okay. Now I've got
or you get the money?
Okay. Now I've gotten your question. Okay. I've gotten your question now, Madam Maria. So now, Madam Maria, when you are first coming up with your formula, you need to be strategic enough. By which letters are you going to include in that formula? Remember, for example, I've not included G in this formula. Okay? I've not included G, but G is there in the triangle. Why have I not included? Because G is irrelevant. So whatever letter which I've included here, you need to go back to the triangle and refer and pick the values. That's the reason why we have written them down. So now, as I was telling you, the summary of how to identify the sine rule, I said either one angle and its opposite sides will be given in full. When you just see an angle and its opposite side given in full, don't even debate about it. That's the sine rule. That's the reason why, if you have noticed the first substitution, we have it in full. There's an angle here, which is a 40, and its opposite sides is there in full. And then is equal to, now the other side is either an angle you won't be given, but the opposite sides will be given. In other question, the opposite sides you won't be given, an angle you'll be given. That's how it works. So mean that you need to have enough on the letters. Once you put G here, then you need to look for the value of G that you're going to substitute. So you need to be strategic enough. So yes, indeed, Madam Maria, we are referring to the triangle and the letters or the angles or the numbers which are associated with that letter. So for angle L, capital L, we have gotten 40 degrees because 40 degrees is representing angle L. Small letter L, we have gotten 14.2 because when you go down in the triangle here, L, the side which is opposite L, we said the small letter L, which is 14.2. On O, angle O, we have not written anything because we don't know the value of angle O. So temporarily, that's what we are looking for. On side O here, we have gotten 10.1 because it is the side which is opposite to O. Madam Maria, are you okay with what I've explained? Give me a feedback. Madam Maria, okay. Thank you very much. Okay. I think now we can proceed. So here at this stage is just a matter of simplification, multiplying here and there. So now what are we supposed to do? Let me find out. Anyone with an idea, what are we supposed to do in this case at this stage? This stage now does not require trick. This stage requires algebra. How to simplify a fraction. How to do with a fractional equation. It's not trick. We are going back to grade 10 about algebra, ways of simplifying a fractional equation. It's this part now. So what are we supposed to do under this stage? Let me get your views. Royce, do you have an idea?
I think it's to cross multiply.
Very good. We need to cross multiply. Why are we supposed to cross multiply? It's because, guys, it's very difficult for us to deal with an equation that has fractions. This equation has fractions. It will be very complicated for us to know the value of O, capital O, if we have fractions. So the process of cross multiplying will convert this fractional equation into a straight equation. So we are going to cross multiply. So cross multiply. And with this, let me emphasize something. Okay? There is this is just a quick one, by the way. Okay? I had a question like this. Okay? Sorry. Let me put a plus here. I had a question like this. And one learner, I asked one learner to say, at this stage, what are we supposed to do? Okay? For us to simplify this fraction. The learner responded to say, we are supposed to cross multiply. Is it true? Let me get your feedback. Are we supposed to cross multiply here? Because we have a fraction. Okay? We have a fraction here. Are we supposed to cross multiply? What do you think?
Plus, I don't cross multiply.
So now, in what condition are we supposed to cross multiply then? Yes, you are right, Roboto. Don't cross multiply. So this simply means that, it doesn't mean that whenever you see a fraction, then you cross multiply. No. So we need to enjoy the rules now. So you're only supposed to cross multiply if, one, you have fractions. Secondly, you have an equal sign in between those fractions. You need to have an equal sign in between the fractions. So meaning that where there is a plus, if you put an equal sign where there is a plus, if you put an equal sign here, then you can cross multiply. Okay? Hope I've emphasized on what condition you're supposed to cross multiply, because I don't want you to make any. Okay. So now we'll cross multiply. So we'll say 10.1 times sine 40 should be equal to, sorry, let me start with what we are looking for. Okay, deliberately. This is a deliberate move. Okay, to start with what we are looking for. Why? So that we can reduce on the stages. Remember, we have time with that. We'll be beaten against time during the final exam. So I'll start with sine O times 14.2. So I'll multiply 14.2 times sine O is equal to 10.1 times sine 40. I wanted to start with this, but I've exchanged. So that we can beat against time. Even during an exam, do the same. Don't start with this, because again you'll be confused. What am I looking for? What you're looking for is on the other side. So it's better what you're looking for, you bring it on the left hand side. Okay? So the way we have cross multiplied, anyone who is behind? Mr. Emmanuel, are you okay? Mr. Emmanuel, do you have any question for me, or are you okay? Give me feedback. Okay, I don't know whether it's his network. All right, okay. If at all there's no question, then let me proceed. After writing it in this way, remember, what are we looking for? We are looking for the value of angle O. So for us to find the value of angle O, we first need to remain with sine O alone on the left hand side. Okay? We need to remain with sine O here alone. Okay? Now, before we even remain with sine O alone, I think this part we can multiply. Since we are allowed to use calculators, this part we can multiply. So it means that we'll say we have 40.2 times sine O is equal to, what is 10.1 times sine 40? Someone to give me a feedback?
It's 6.4.
Yes.
921.
91.
921.
921. Okay.
54.
54.
858.
858. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, Madam Faustina. Okay. So these numbers does not just guess. We use a calculator. We multiply. We need to multiply those entries of those numbers so that we can have that answer. Okay. And then now we'll divide both sides by 14.2, even this side by 14.2. Why? So that we remain with O alone. Sorry, so that we remain with sine O alone. Okay? So meaning that this 14.2, 14.2 will cancel. So we'll say sine O is equal to, when you divide this 14.2 into 6.492154858, what is our answer? Someone to help me?
0.45.
0.45.
71.
71.
94.
94.
004.
004. Thank you very much. I also hope and trust to say others are throwing their calculators, because I've emphasized a lot about calculators. Remember, in fact, I can encourage you also to be participating when responding on how to use a calculator, so that just in case you make a mistake, we are able to correct each other, than avoiding a situation where you be alone and you are making mistakes. Here, mistakes are welcome. During an exam, if you make a mistake, you will fail the question. So please, I want to encourage you to be participating. So now, at the stage where we have reached, what are you supposed to do next? Remember, we are looking for O. We need to remain with O alone. Okay? What are we supposed to do? We need to remain with this O. What are we supposed to do? Mr. Tembo, do you have an idea?
No idea, sir.
Okay, then let me explain it. So here, guys, you are not supposed to divide sine throughout. No. Okay, you're not supposed to say over sine. Please don't do that. Do not do this. What I've written. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to bring this sine, this side here. Once you bring sine this side, this word sine, it will change into sine inverse. So mean that O is equal to sine inverse. How to write sine inverse? You write it raised to the power -1. Okay? Of 0.457194004. Like that. Sine inverse. So using a calculator, what's the sine inverse? Anyone to help me? Madam Faustina, are you able to identify how to place sine inverse? Are you able to place sine inverse?
No, sir.
Okay, all right.
How do I do it?
All right, thank you very much, Madam Faustina. So with okay, before I explain, yes, Madam Rachel.
So it's given 27.206.
27.206.
That is 20. Yes. 1894.
1894. Okay. Degrees. So now, Madam Rachel, are you able to explain how to place sine inverse on the calculator?
Yes, please.
Yes, you can go ahead.
So you on the calculator, you go on shift and then you press sine and then the figures you are given and then equals to, because we are looking for the degrees. That's the reason why we use the sine inverse.
Okay. So now,
Yes. I mean
so just to add on what Madam Rachel has explained, Madam Faustina, sine inverse, this is the second function. Look at your calculator. At your calculator there, you will notice to say there, of course, you have buttons. On top of buttons, they are of the same color. Now, down that button, they are of a different color. Okay? There is a different color that has been written down there. Not on top of the button, but down there. That color is the same color as the color for shift. Confirm with me, Madam Faustina. Are you having the same color?
Down here where there are numbers.
Have you seen where there is sine, cos, and tan?
Yes.
Now, where there is sine, down there is sine inverse. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Even cos inverse down there. Now, that color for sine inverse, cos inverse, is the same color for shift. Have you seen?
Yes, 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 yes.
So, in short, for you to place it, those things which you have written down, you need first to pass through shift. You need first to press shift, and then you press it, the button which is there. So now press shift, then press sine.
Yes, sir, I did even the time that I think Madam Rachel was explaining.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. I'm sure now we are at the same page. Okay, so this is our answer. Now remember, what does you are welcome, Madam Faustina? Okay. What does the instruction says about angles? So angles instruction is saying we need to give our answer the nearest two significant figures. So the nearest two significant figures, the answer is just 27 degrees. This is the answer for angle O. Okay? This is the answer for angle O. But this is not our final answer. Why? Because we are not looking for angle O, but angle G. Of which, in that diagram, if you have noticed, it's like this. Okay? In this triangle, there is L, O, and G. Okay? L, O, and G. After that, we have been given angle L to be a 40. Angle O we have calculated is 27. Now the question was, we look for angle G here. So we just use the properties of the angles in the triangle, the total number of angles. So it means that when we add 40 plus 27 plus angle G, it will give us 180. Or in short, we'll just say angle OGL is equal to 180 minus the answer that we'll get when we add the 40 plus 27. Let me find out. Is there anyone who is behind what I've explained? So this is a part which I was saying this question was a little bit tricky because you're just not supposed to go there. You need to think which way am I going to use for me to arrive at my final answer. Okay, if at all there's no question, then let me proceed. So now we'll say 180 minus, what is 40 plus 27? 40 plus 27. Yes, Madam Juanita?
Yeah, 137, sir. Oh, sorry. Sorry, it's 67.
Yes, 67. Okay. So I'll write 67 here. Then let's subtract 180 minus 67. 180 minus 67. Mr. Tebo. Okay. Madam Maria, yes? You have raised up your hand. You can go ahead, please, Madam Maria.
It's it's 113.
113 indeed. Remember the units? This is an angle. But last at the end, please. Regardless whether at the beginning you are not putting the degrees, but at the end, I'm emphasizing on the units. So 113 degrees. So this is our final answer. And the 5 mark is yours. This is why it's called a 5 mark. We need to move into something, somewhere. And let's see if at all there's any question for me before I go to question 2. Okay. If there's no question, let's go to question 2. Okay. Madam Rachel, hope you are following. You asked me about the how to calculate the area, right?
Sir, I just went out a bit, so I'm a little bit behind.
Okay. So I'll just commenting to say you asked me how to calculate the area of a triangle, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's what I'm now going to explain. The stage which I'm going to explain now. Okay, just a minute. I'm just erasing the board. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute, if you don't mind. Can create space. Okay. Let me just also do this part. Okay. So the area of a triangle. So remember, we are dealing with a non-right angled triangle. Non-right angled triangle has the formula which says the following: area is equal to half AB sine C. This is the formula which is in the lot of books, okay? But during the final exam, don't use A, B, and C. No, use the letters which are there in the diagram. That means that O is about A, B, and C. No, we need to use the letters which are in the diagram. So now we are going to use the letters which are in the diagram. But before I do that, let me just explain how to pick the value of A and B and C. So remember that in this formula which I've written on top, if this is A, B, and C, so for you to use this formula, it simply means that the value of the length A you have been given, the length B you have been given, and the included angle C you have been given. So in short, when you are using this formula, you're not just supposed to use it anyhow. You need to put the sides here. The sides to put are the sides that you have been given. Okay, the sides that you have been given, you know their values, and when those sides meet, they form angle C. So the angle that you know. So meaning that, for example, if you have been given AB and then you don't know the value of angle C, okay, then you have been given this B, then you cannot say AB sine B. It's wrong. So always you need to choose two sides and the included angle. Those two sides have been given, and where those two sides are meeting, that's the angle you need to get. Having explained that, let me come back to our question. We have found that this here, it was angle what? Who can remind me? What's the value of this angle? Angle 27 degrees, right? The nearest whole numbers. Okay? And then we have also found this angle to be 113. 113 degrees. So now we need to ask ourselves, which angle are we going to take here? And which sides? So as you can see, 10.1, which is side O, we have been given. We know the value. 14.2, which is side L, we have been given. We know the value. O and L are meeting at G. G, we know the value. So it means that the side we use O times L sine G. Not sine O, because we don't know this value. Not sine L, because we don't know this value still. So now we are going to say area is equal to half times OL times sine G. I've written this L as if it's a capital letter, so I'm changing it small letter like that. So this is a small letter L. So say area is equal to half times O is 10.1 times L is 14.2 times sine. What's the value of G? Sine G, we have calculated it's 113. Like that. So we have made some substitution. Let me find out if at all there's any question for me with the substitution. Okay, if not, let's go ahead. So we'll say area is equal to, now let's multiply what is on top. Okay, let's multiply 10.1 times 14.2 times sine 113. Multiply whole root of this. What's our answer? Anyone with a calculator was multiplied? Feel free. Rubuta, do you have a calculator? Yes, Madam Faustina. You can go ahead.
132.
132.
0.01.
0.01.
88.
88.
061.
061. Thank you very much. Remember, this is not our final answer. In fact, I've even omitted something here. So we are saying area is equal to 1/2 times this. So now we'll divide this, our answer, by 2. When you divide, what's our final answer?
66.
66.
0.009.
0.009.
40.
40. 40.
304.
304. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Faustina. So meaning that when you round off the nearest three significant figures, we are going to have 66.0, which is same as just 66. So this one can only go up to two significant figures. So meaning that I can even erase this 0, and then I'll say, remember the units. Don't throw away the units. The final answer is in mathematics, when you throw away the units, you are sharing the marks with the examiner. It means that you have become too kind for you to share your results with the examiner. So put the units. Okay. So as you can see, if we go back here, these are in meters. So meaning that we'll say meters squared as the area. And let's see if there's a question. Yes, Madam Maria.
Sir, I just wanted to find that here on the area is equals to half. Which one do we multiply with? Is it times 2 or times 1? I didn't get here.
Okay. So here you need to multiply. First of all, you start with this part which I've put in a circle. Okay. Or if you want, you can start with 1. This one here. 1 times the whole root of this. So that your answer you divide by 2. Okay. So mean that if we wanted at this stage, Madam Maria, if we wanted, we would have written it like this, where you multiply 1 times everything which is on top, where we have 132.0188061 over 2. Would have written it in this way, this stage. I mean this stage. Let me this stage. This stage would have written it in this way. So you can multiply this one times everything which is on top to have this over, you take this 2, you bring it down here as a denominator. I don't know whether I've answered your question. If not, please tell me. Madam Maria, give me a feedback. Okay, thank you. Another question? If not, let's go to the last question. Okay? What is the last question? So the last question is always shortest distance. Shortest distance. Okay? So now, while I was teaching or showing you how to find the area, I was in my mind to say, with the shortest distance, what can I do? Should I show them where the formula is coming from, or I can just go direct by giving you the formula to use? Okay? That's a debate which I was having. Which one is better? Which one do you want? Starting from showing you where the formula is coming from, or just the formula is okay? Yes, madam.
Where it is coming from, sir?
Where it's coming from? All right. Thank you very
No,
much.
just go direct.
Okay.
So I think I suggest if you have a video on how to show where the formula is coming from, you can share it with us then. Papa, so you can just go direct.
Okay. Bakwetu, can I go direct? Give me a feedback, Bakwetu. Bakwetu, should I go direct? Mr. Charles.
Oh, no, no.
Okay. normally the formulas compares the two, the formula of a right angle triangle and the formula of a non-right angle triangle. Okay, but I'll share the video. Okay, I'll share the video, but shortest distance is equal to, okay, let me do this. Let me start from where the formula is coming from so that you can appreciate, if you don't mind. I know you just want to. Huh? Madam Faustina?
Bizapa kabumbera.
Oh, okay.
Ina
Okay, okay. I've understand your point, guys. Okay. So shortest distance is equal to 2 times the area. Okay, let me just use the initial, just a minute. Let me just use the initials, 2 times A over B. This is the formula that you need to use for a shortest distance. Now we need to know the meaning of A, we need to know the meaning of B. That's the important part. So A, okay, so I'll say where A stands for the area. Remember, we have calculated the area already. The area that we have calculated, that's the value of A. So mean that if your area is wrong, even your short distance will be wrong. B, let me go back. Okay. In fact, here I can even finish it. Okay. Because the area, the value of the area we know. It is 66. Okay, meters squared. Now B here, always, let's go back to the diagram. In this, sorry, to the question. In this question, they'll ask you to say the shortest distance from L to OG. There is a last word there. To OG. I'm repeating. To OG. To OG. So now, just pick the distance which they are saying to OG. Okay? So pick OG. The distance after the word to, that is the value of B, which is OG. So even if they say, for example, in other question, to AB, then pick AB. Okay? Even if they say to LM, then pick LM, the distance or the length LM. So meaning that B in this case will be OG. OG. Which is, what is the value of OG? If we come back here, OG, it is 14.2. OG is 14.2. So we pick, because O and G, this distance, 14.2. So we pick 14.2. 14.2. Let me find out. Are we okay? Are we okay here? It's actually a very simple question, very simple calculation. Okay. All right. People have said they're okay. Unless if at all there's someone who is behind. If not, let's substitute. Let's substitute. So we'll say, let me use red, shortest distance is equal to 2 times the area, it is 66, over B, which is OG, it's 14.2. So shortest distance is equal to 2 times 6. Okay, so say 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13 over 14.2. So now anyone with a calculator, when we divide, what's our answer? Shortest distance is equal to
So
Yes.
9.295
9.295
77
77
4648.
4648. Thank you very much. Now, if we round off the nearest three significant figures, we are going to have shortest distance is equal to, remember, 9 is a first significant figure, 2 is a second, the other 9 is a third, and the number after 9 is 5. It's equal to 5. So we'll take 1 and put on 9. When we do that, automatically this become a 10. So mean that this will become a 0, and the other one will put it on 2 here to have a 3. So mean that is 9.30. What are the units? Meters. The units is meters. Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay, so if at all we don't have a question, then I think we have reached at the conclusion of this calculation, this paper. Okay, please watch the videos. Watch those videos; they're very important. Cosine rule, Madam Rachel shared it in the in our WhatsApp group. Cosine rule she shared, but I don't know whether she saw the area and the show distance. If not, I'll try and share them so that we can comprehend our understanding. Okay. So this is the end of today. Tomorrow is Friday. If I thought everything will be okay on my end in terms of power and network, because these are the only two things which have act as a limiting factor. If I thought everything will be okay, I'll update you. We are going to have a lesson so that we can do some catch up here and there. Unless if I thought there's anything. If not, thank you very much, guys, for being available today and for the lesson that we are from having. Please revise. Revise as much as possible. And as I highlighted by the group, I'm going to put you in groups so that we can have some targets. Because you can agree with me to say there's limited time remaining. Okay? So that we can have targets for us to appreciate the calculation. But I'm going to explain everything very soon. For now, please have a good night. Thank you for joining. This has been Maths Layer, your mathematics tutor. Goodbye, good night, and God bless you. Bye.